Welcome, Mr. Denome, and welcome to this crypto update. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show in this video, and the first one is that today there is a decision for Bitcoin to do a massive pump or dump, and that is regardless of technical analysis. But if you just want my technical analysis, it's gonna be quite simple. We had this breakout that I showed in the previous update. We had the pump to the upside. Now we had a retest of this trend line, so now it looks like it wants to have a continuation pump to 116k, which is basically my take profit area as of now for some of my Bitcoin holdings. So 116k I showed in the previous update. There's a CME gap there, and also it's a liquidation zone. So I think there will be a reversal there. But what is this announcement that comes out today that it is either a pump or a dump? That is obviously Michael Saylor's strategy company. So today on Friday, there will be an announcement coming from the S&P 500 index for new additions to its index. And Michael Saylor's Bitcoin Treasury Company strategy, they fit all 6 criteria for the addition. So the company must be in USA. The market cap has to exceed $22.7 billion. There has to be equal or greater than 250,000 shares of each of the 6 months leading up to the inclusion date. Liquidity ratio must exceed 75%. Shares must be listed on a stock exchange such as the New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq, and shares must be in an eligible format such as common stock. So strategy stock could be listed in S&P 500. Now, if it is listed there, that means that a strategy company now has access to passive ETF capital. So passive index ETFs, they buy the whole S&P 500 index every now and then. And that means that they get continuous capital flows into the stock itself. And that will make the company sustainable, at least in the medium term. And that is obviously good for Bitcoin because then they will go to the open market and they will dump on the ETF investors and they will buy Bitcoin with that capital. And suddenly the whole system that they have built would make sense. So I would imagine that the strategy stock will do quite well if they are added here in the index. And now they will make this decision. And if it does not if it's not a decision that favors strategy, then it will take at least 3 months or more before the next rebalancing of this index. So that means that if they are added into the index, it's most likely going to be a pump. They suddenly get an influx of new capital because the index fund also have to rebalance their portfolios. And if it's not included here, then obviously all the hype building up into this event most likely will cause the Bitcoin price to dump and also the strategy price to dump as well. But right now, just looking at the technical analysis, we had the breakout of this structure here to the upside. Now we had a perfect retouch of the trend line. So it's most likely that we go to 116k price level, which I showed in the previous video that is a major area for CME gaps. So that is basically my price target as of now. And based on the price action here, it does seem like a lot of people have conviction that it will be added into this into the S&P 500 index. Now, I don't have insider information, obviously, so I don't even know what are the chances. It could be 20%, it could be 50%. I have no idea what are the probabilities for it to get listed here. But if it is listed, then it's likely a pump. If it's not listed, then unfortunately we're probably getting hit lower. So that is the major news. Then I do want to mention WLFI. So WLFI had an obvious successful launch on Monday, and now there has been some drama. And the big drama is, well, there's 2 pieces to this drama, but the first one is that Justin Sun, who is an advisor, found a loophole and he sold some of his WLFI holdings. He has denied the accusations, but the trails on chain are basically undeniable. So what he did is he has this exchange called HTX. And in the HTX exchange, they promised a 20% return, annual return, if you lock up your WLFI tokens. So a lot of people locked their WLFI tokens for that 20% yield. And then Justin Sun took that locked WLFI tokens and he deposited those tokens into Binance to sell those tokens in Binance. And now the people who had the WLFI tokens are unable to withdraw because they have locked their tokens in the HTX. So that's basically what happened there. Justin Sun's wallet got blacklisted, so he's unable to sell more WLFI tokens. And I don't know where this is going, but it's obviously not good for the WLFI price. The second piece of drama for the WLFI is basically just the responses from the team and the project itself. So when I take a look at the X feed on WLFI, they are only talking about the token price. They are not talking about getting new users for USD1. They are not talking about integrations. They are not talking about having more partners, more adoption. What they are talking about is basically just the WLFI price. And that is a red flag, in my opinion, because that tells me that they already got what they wanted out of WLFI and that they are not laser focused on its future. So here you can see the TLDR in this post is that day one listings across all these different exchanges, zero tokens moved early, retail investors prioritized over founders, still trading above 20 cents, no team sales, only pre-sale unlocks, circulating supply, treasury well funded, Justin Sun, WLFI purchased $2 million on-chain, burned 47 million WLFI tokens. They talk about the success, they blocked a hacker here, and they simply don't talk about the future at all in this whole post. They talk about the alts, which is a Nasdaq listed treasury company that is supposedly going to acquire more WLFI tokens. And let's see, beating the expectations, early supporters, big thank you for trusting us. And that is the whole thing. So my question is just, what next? What is your plan going forward? And they don't have a plan here. And even to this date, they are not talking about the future. They were only talking about the launch. So no updates after September 2nd. So that tells me that they don't really have a great plan going forward, that they are laser focused on executing. So if you are going to buy WLFI tokens, do so with extreme caution. That is basically my point here. The price of the token already dumped to almost 16 cents, and I will not be buying this token until the price is 5 cents. When it's 5 cents, then it's the pre-sale price level once again. So if it goes there, then I might buy more WLFI tokens again. But for now, I will not be buying more because there's only dumping going on until they start improving the protocol. They actually have an underlying business, revenue, profits, all these different things. Then I might consider buying WLFI. But as of now, there's basically only hype and dumping for this price here. Now, if you want to short it, you could obviously do that as well, but they might announce some shenanigans that pumps the price. So I'm currently not touching this project, but I'm not gonna buy more either. And as you can see, it is still in the downtrend, and it had a reaction from this top level. So as of now, it's still in dump mode, and I don't see currently it changing its direction. Now they could make an announcement tomorrow, and it changes my perspective. But this is just my take that be careful if you are investing in WLFI, and that's basically my update there. Now for the rest of the video, I will look at the fundamentals, and then we will go back to price action. The first thing that I do want to mention is actually related in the short term, and that is Google Trends. So when we take a look at Bitcoin and crypto on Google Trends, the interest for both has completely fallen off a cliff. So Bitcoin interest is currently 19, and last time it was 19, we basically have to go back all the way to October of 2024. So this means that retail investors have completely bailed out of Bitcoin and completely bailed out of crypto. So this is pretty much the most bullish thing that you are seeing in this video. This is more bullish than what Michael Saylor is doing with his strategy company, because when retail investors are completely out of the picture and the price is going sideways, that means that whales are accumulating. So this, in my opinion, is a good sign that Bitcoin has more upside to go and altcoins have more upside to go as well. So that is what would be worrying to me is when the price continues to go up and the interest on retail continues to go up as well. That is worrying to me. Also, if the interest for retail goes up and the price is going sideways, that is always a little bit scary as well, because that means that the whales are dumping while the retail people are basically buying the top there. So anyway, this is bullish in my opinion. Now, for the other fundamentals, the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges has gone slightly down during this downturn, which means that there has been some accumulation. Again, a sign that we want to see. Is not a lot of accumulation, but there is some accumulation at these price levels. So that is obviously nice to see. Also, when we take a look at the amount of stable coins on the market, that has continued to go up. So on Monday, the number was about $241 billion, and now it's $242.7 billion. So roughly $1.5 billion increase in the last week. So that is nice to see. We want to see stablecoins continue to grow. Now, I want to make a separate video in the future about the future of stablecoins, because there will be a turning point when this is no longer bullish for crypto, because there will be other blockchains that will run these stablecoin transactions, and that will not be bullish for our bags, because they will be run on a basically Circle's own blockchain. So I will make a video about that, because they have announced their own blockchain is called Arc. So I will make a video about that in the future. But as of now, I will still consider this as a bullish indicator. But in the future, they will have their own blockchain that has nothing to do with Ethereum, nothing to do with any other crypto. It will be purely running USDC, and the gas fees will be paid in USDC. So that is a little bit annoying, but it's still in testnet, and that will launch sometime in 2026. So it's not in the near future, but all in all, that's basically coming. So I want to make a video about that. Then also, when we take a look at old whales, they are not selling this bottom. So blue line and yellow line, these are wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 3 years and more than 1 year. And here at these lows, they are not selling. Who has been selling is wallets that have held Bitcoin basically more than 90 days and less than 1 year. They have been selling during this time. That again tells me that whales have been accumulating here and whales have not been selling here. It has been the retail investors who have exited. And I have even one more data point here that basically proves this. So here, the pink line, this is retail investors. Here you can see that retail investors, so people who have 0 to 1 Bitcoin inside their wallets, they increased their holdings here when Bitcoin was $113. And right now they basically sold to this pump here. So retail investors made quite a bit of sales, and whales, this yellow line, this is mostly ETFs and Bitcoin treasury companies. They have increased their holdings and they continue to increase it as well. So whales have been buying here while retail investors basically dumped their Bitcoin into this price level. So again, this tells me that whales are buying, retail investors are selling. But to contrast that, we did get sales from ETFs. So looking at the Bitcoin spot ETFs, there was an outflow of $220 million yesterday. We'll see what the number is today, but overall, this week has actually been accumulation into the Bitcoin ETFs. So overall, quite positive. The Ethereum ETFs have only seen outflows this week. So that is obviously not great for Ethereum. But looking at Bitcoin treasury companies, unfortunately here, the total net effect since my last update, this used to be $3.7 million. So we have basically seen an outflow of 10,000 Bitcoin from these wallets. So some whales have been selling clearly, and ETFs have been selling here as well. So this is a little bit contradictory to what I said earlier, but overall I would say that whales, or some whales at least, have been accumulating during this time. Then looking at Ethereum strategic reserve companies, we did get quite a bit of purchases. So Ether Machine bought 150,000 Ethereum, Sharplink bought 40,000 Ethereum, Bitmine 70,000 Ethereum, and Yanfeng Financial bought 10,000 Ethereum over the last week. So quite a bit of purchases from these Ethereum treasury companies. So they are still buying, but some Ethereum whales are selling. Now looking at the validator queue, which I've been talking about in the last couple of videos, these are still basically in parity, which means that the same amount of Ethereum is entering into staking queue as is exiting the staking queue. So overall, this is a positive thing in my books. And looking at the total amount of Ethereum staked or unstaked, you can see that it's basically at an all-time high here. So 35 million Ethereum, or maybe, sorry, 35 million Ethereum, 35.6 million Ethereum here. And that's basically trading at a almost at an all-time high. So Ethereum as a whole, we're not seeing outflows from the staking, even though at some point here it looked like there's going to be a massive exodus out of the Ethereum staking, but there's a lot of people entering into stakes as well. So overall, I would say this is positive because it's better than it was last week. Then that's basically it for the updates, except I do want to mention about the Fed's decision in this September. So now the betting markets are even more positive than on Monday. So 87% of the bettors are saying that there will be a 25 basis point decrease in rates, and 6% say there's going to be a 50% basis point decrease in interest rates. So overall, the total amount is 93% bet that there will be an interest rate cut. So let's see if that will happen or not. But overall, it does seem like there will be an interest rate cut between September 16 and 17. So there is still quite a bit of way to go there. In the short term, taking all of this in, what I'm currently seeing is just accumulation. Okay, the price is already continuing to go up. So 116K is likely the next target here. From there, I will make different decisions after that. But I'm seeing a lot of altcoins basically dumping. So if you were interested into getting into LDO, for example, that you had basically a very good buying opportunities here when I made the updates on Monday and after that as well. Even now at $1.2, I think this is a steal. I think it's gonna go upwards. The whole thing, why they are launching the version 3 of Lido between October and November, is so that it is compliant with the staked Ethereum ETFs. And I'm seeing more and more discussion basically pointing and spilling the beans that Lido's STETH will be part of the staked Ethereum ETF infrastructure. So all in all, LDO, in my opinion, is a massive steal, and I could be completely wrong here, but this is simply my take that LDO is gonna be a big player here, and is $1 billion market cap from these levels is most likely gonna reap to much higher numbers than that eventually when the news does break out. So I'm accumulating LDO as of now. And if I'm wrong, then I stand to lose quite a bit of money. But if I'm right, then I hope that things go my way. Anyway, that's basically it for the update. I'm bullish in the short term, but let's take a look at what's the news on Friday, if strategy will be listed or not. So on the Monday's update, I might be a little bit more bearish, and if I hit my price targets of 116k in the short term. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys on the next video, and bye bye.